Hey everybody, and welcome back to Super Comic Fun Times Daily Vlog. This week we are today we are finishing our look. This week we've been looking back on all of the comic books, the free comic books I got on Free Comic Book Day 2018, and I've read them all, and if I couldn't read them, I said so. And there's only two books I couldn't read, and one looked to be excellent. It's called Barriers, but half the book was in Spanish, so I am seeing some glare on my eye. Let me see if I can get rid of that. It's distracting me. Not my eye, but my glasses. There, that's a little better. Now I just have, it's just like anything that's really white is reflecting off the screen. So there we go. I need to get level. Okay, anyways, so you know, I've read the ones I could. There were two I couldn't, like My Hero Academia. I just couldn't get into it. And, you know, I read a few pages and I flipped through the whole book. And then Barriers just has beautiful artwork, but it's half in Spanish and I couldn't read it. So, yeah, I feel really conflicted about that. But anyways, today what we have for you, we have the last two books that I read over the last 2 days. The first up is Shadowman from Valiant Comics. Now this one contains, yeah, I like to, that's 1, 2, 3. So I get like annoyed when people show something on a YouTube video and they don't give you enough time to actually look at it. And I suppose anybody can like pause the video and take a look at it, but I like silent movies, and I like that they gave you enough time to read the cards, you know, in between the scenes. So anyways, this book contains Shadowman, preview number 1, Exo Man of War from 2017, I guess, number 14 preview, the Valiant Multiverse, which was just kind of like a big poster type thing I told you about the Valiant universe, and Harbinger Wars 2 Prelude. So let's go through these. Now, first up, the best one in this book is by far Shadowman. This was a really good story. You know, again, it's short. It's just a taste, a teaser, but something actually happens. So, you know, this woman is in the boat and I'm not sure who she is, but she has magic powers, I guess, and she knows the water is cursed. So, like, you know, she's on a boat. Now, if you're a Lucio Fulci fan, and he's an Italian film director, this opening scene reminded me a little bit of The Beyond, which, you know, I mean, all it is people in a bayou coming across, you know, in a boat, but that's sort of how that movie starts. And other than that, it has nothing to do with it. But anything that reminds me of a classic Italian horror movie, I mean, it's just great. The artwork in this is pretty good. I can't think of any complaints. So what's happening is, like, you know, I guess there was this other person who was a witch or something, and this guy is telling this woman about him and her, and she says she wasn't a real witch, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, it turns out, and then, you know, again, spoilers for this. I'm kind of hesitating because I didn't want to spoil it, but I forgot that these are free comic books. Everything is going to be spoiled. So, like, you know, this turns out that this guy isn't really helping her. He's leading her to a trap to be sacrificed to this dude. You know, to me, he just looks like a Balrog from Lord of the Rings. But I kind of like, you know, he says, your Vive will not shield you. So, like, these are all terms that I'm not familiar with, but they didn't really stop me. Now, Grigri I've heard of. So, like, he goes, your Vive will not shield you. Your Grigri will not protect you. I am the grinder of bones, he who stops the waters, and you, little offering, are mine. So, I don't know. I really like the artwork on this monster. I'm assuming that these are all authentic voodoo or voodoo words. I don't know. So yeah, there he is reaching out for her. And then, you know, what happens is she starts to, like, get sucked into the earth, can't get away, but she summons Shadowman, and and he comes out. This reminds me of it kind of reminds me of a character from Grant Morrison's The Invisibles. But I mean, that's basically it. That's the end of the story. She summons Shadowman, but it was good enough. I mean, you got a feeling for who the characters are. You got a little bit of action, which you don't always get in these books. The next story, you know, so I'm going to say, like, just for the Shadowman portion, this was a pretty good book. Then we, oh yeah, this is just the advertisement for Shadowman. I'm not sure that this advertisement does it any favors, but the little story that preceded it was pretty good. Now, the next one is an Exo Man of War story. And this one was the kind of thing that, I mean, all it is this guy talking to his computer and floating through space. And while he's talking to his computer, it's supposed to give you exposition, but you know, nothing really happens. And then he thinks that he's going to go home to Earth, but I think he's going home to the computer's world or something. It didn't really grab me. And so, yeah, here's a nice pinup. This might be the thing that they're referring to as the multiverse. I kind of forget. And then you had this other one, Harbinger's War 2. Now, this was kind of a good story. It just was, I don't think it's my story. So, like, I like the way it starts. It's like all of the Wi-Fi and stuff. So she's a person who can hear all of the technology going on all the time. She comes into this you know, like it's a non-Wi-Fi cafe, and, you know, no Wi-Fi, no computers, no phones. So, and it's almost like it's just made for her, but I think there's other people with these psychic abilities to hear all of the Wi-Fi and stuff. Now, a couple of weird things is just kind of like the artwork on this. I mean, it just jumped out at me, like this one frame where this guy is talking to her, and you know, it's so striking. And to me, I don't think it's good. It takes me out of the story a little bit, but I thought I might make it my avatar on Twitter or something, because I like it for that, but I don't know that I like it for, you know, as adding to this story. He just, you know, like, you got all these nice postage. It's kind of a cool way to tell a story. Then he just kind of pops up. I might have just showed him behind the coffee bar, or like wiping down tea. I would have, yeah. I mean, just that little corner there and that smile. To me, it's weird. But and then there's like another one like that. Like suddenly this FBI agent or something is there, and, you know, she says, "Mr. So and so," and he goes, "How do you know my name?" It's like, "You're the only one in here with a cell phone." And really, like, other than Mr. Smiley over here, he looks to be the only person in here. We really don't know it because they don't really show anything, and it gives like kind of a sterile feeling to this whole encounter. You know, to me, it's just the barista, you know, Mr. Smiley, and the FBI guy and her are in this place. So it's a little weird. And then you know, she's kind of like saying cute vacation pictures, and then she goes, "I'm here on the deputy director's behalf." And then you get this. This was like another, like, I don't know why they had her make this face here. So these are two, like this one here and this one here. For whatever reason, they bothered me. They took me out of the story a little bit. So anyways, after that, she goes back to Washington, and, like, you know, you get some more exposition of, you know, what they call themselves, psyots. Don't know what that means, but so, like, the government, like, he claims he's trying to, like, make a case for the psyots to the government, and, like, I guess in Michigan or something, they murdered a whole bunch of them. It could be interesting. I don't know that this story was the best. And then, like, I don't know, I saw this here. This is the advertisement for this Harbinger's War 2. And it said, like, what did it say? I mean, that's what they're really pushing. This is IDW, I guess, and they're just, no, this is Valiant. That's right. I haven't gone to the next book yet. So, yeah, so coming in the summer. So, like, this book is out now, and, you know, I don't know. Could be good. It's got a science fiction thing that should appeal to me. I just don't know. The little sample they gave in here left me with mixed feelings. So Shadowman for me is the best story in here, and yeah, I think that's all there is to say about that one. And then we come to Transformers Unicron. Now this one surprised me. I'm not a Transformers guy. I have practically no interest in it, but this story was pretty good. In this case, the story is half a book, and so it gives you a little more time. It's a full, complete story, more or less. Like it leads into their big summer event, I guess, which is going to be this Unicron thing, or I keep calling it Omnicron sometimes. I kind of remember that might be a Doctor Who thing, Omnicron particles, or maybe they're real particles, but I've heard stuff like that. So, so yeah, essentially it starts up talking about how like this planet has been at peace for 200 years, and so like they're always the ones that are easiest to destroy because everybody's complacent because everything's so good. And it's basically a boy and his dog going on here. And then what I really liked about it is, you know, I said I kind of lamented not getting the ROM Space Knight book, this free comic book day, but ROM was in this one, so I was like, yay! I was very happy about that. And it's just kind of a good story. So I think this is ROM's homeworld, and you're going to have to excuse me. I did not memorize all of the names of the planets, but there's like this force out there that is eating planets more or less. And so the Transformers and ROM and a couple of other Space Knights are here. And, you know, it's got some very nice artwork. Let the camera, come on, camera, focus in on it. What's going on? Focus in on me then. Okay, now focus in on this. There we go. Okay, so like, well, in one sense, it's a little dark. I don't know that it's coming through here, but the artwork is very good. And, you know, like right here, you've got this flying cube. I don't know what that is. Maybe longtime fans know what it is. I assume it's something that people who read the book regularly. And again, that didn't bother me. So it's like, you know, Rom is worried because this is his home world, and the Optimus Prime thing is saying, you know, we probably can't save you, but we'll do our best. And so, you know, they fight this, they fight this thing, whatever it is. I thought this was cool. They found this thing here, and like, I guess there's a special metal that the Decepticons are made out of, and there's like, it turns out like this planet that is being, I guess it's a planet that's attacking. You know, the story was I enjoyed it, but the story was a little confusing to me, but I enjoyed it. So this is one of the better books. Oh yeah, and it ends with this, like it ends with I hunger, which like right here, it might say, yeah, I guess it's just called the Unicron, but when it says I hunger, it reminded me of that old game Sinistar, which was such a cool game. I remember the first time I played it, and I thought it was just like another asteroids kind of, you know, asteroids with a twist. You kind of like shoot into these asteroids, and these little energy things come out, and you have to collect these. And you know, when I first played a game back then, you know, a coin-op game, I didn't pay attention to the rules or anything. I just played it, and then suddenly, like, if Sinistar gets enough of the pieces, he goes, I live, and like suddenly you got to fight this thing. It was like so scary. It was like one of my best video game experiences. So that's what this reminded me of when he goes, I live, because as soon as Sinistar comes to life in the video game, he goes, I live. Then they'll like yell at you, run, 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 run. And of course you can't run. Then the rest of this book is kind of like, I didn't really read it. It's kind of like explaining where they are and what's going on. And they give you all of this stuff. It wasn't story related stuff, so I didn't really read it. Oh, this was kind of cool. Here's the pinup from this. So I think that's the evil planet thing that's eating other planets. So yeah, I don't know if I was going to. I kind of liked it. I might. I keep saying I might check it out. I don't know that I will, because you know, but I might check it out. So there's that. Oh, and before I get into rating these books, I want to go over a little bit of the news, which. The big story I've been following is the Jawbreakers Indiegogo, and that ended last night, or was it 2 nights ago? I think it ended the night before last, because I didn't do a show yesterday because I had a party to go to. So what happened is the main Indiegogo ended, but then I guess with Indiegogo you can just kind of transform into a store. So if you still want to buy the book and you didn't get in there, you can still buy the book until July, and they're going to close it off in July. They also have a publisher, Antarctic Press, I think it's called, and they do a variety of books. I really don't know anything about them. I've never read any of their books, but so, you know, they want to put it into comic stores. So originally the plan was, you know, the Indiegogo, and then, you know, leave some for people to buy the books, but for whatever reason, they're leaving it open until July. Excuse me, had a very busy day. I'm glad I'm as energetic as I am, because I don't like doing unenergetic videos, even if I stumble over words or something. So yeah, so you can still get the book at Indiegogo, and so I still got the link down below if you want to order a copy. And I don't know about any of the other rules. Like, it was 2 tiers, like a $25 tier, which was just the book, and then like some of the stretch goals included other things, and then there was the $50, which was the book and a poster, and then that includes more of the stretch goals. I think there's like one stretch goal. The final stretch goal was a personal appearance by the 3 principals involved at some place where the fans would choose. Cheers. Tonight I'm enjoying a Fantasy Factory IPA. And so yeah, that's the news I can think of. I can't think of if I had such a busy day at work, and it was kind of fun busy where, you know, I essentially had to like remake an entire database. But it just turned out that there was no real frustration in doing it. So it was kind of good, and it kept me busy all day. So that's all of the news, and if there was any other news I don't know about it, I'll try to catch you up later on that. So right now I'm going to go to my rankings for, I think I picked, yeah, I got the top 4 books. So, you know, I thought about it, I deliberated, I couldn't decide at first between the Tick and the Meta Baron, and I would put one first and then the other first. And in the end, the Meta Baron won out. I just enjoyed the heck out of this book. The problem with this book is, if you're not familiar with the Inkle, or if you haven't been reading the series, you might be a lot lost. I haven't been following the series, but because I know the character, I know him from I know the universe he comes from, I could catch up pretty easily, and I didn't have a problem with it, and I just enjoyed seeing this character again. And I just read the Inkle, you know, over the winter. I read, yeah, the first book is just called The Inkle. The second book is Before the Inkle, and then I can't remember if it's called Final Inkle or After the Inkle, because the artist Mobius, he started one that was titled one thing, and then he died. And then when Jodorowsky found another artist, he just decided, you know, he liked, because of the artist's style, he decided to rewrite the whole thing instead of continuing on for where Mobius left off. And I didn't read the final Mobius book, but at any rate, no, this was a really good book. I haven't really talked about it too much, the story and stuff, because I don't think there's a way to do it without doing the Inkle, which is why I am planning on doing a kind of a video series on that. And I think I'm going to like do the thing where you take screenshots and try to make an interesting retelling of it without giving too much away. I'm going to try something like that. I don't know if I'll succeed, but I'm going to try it. So my number 1 pick for Free Comic Book Day 2018 again is the Meta Baron. And that puts the Tick at number 2. This was just a fun book. It was funny. I laughed from the heart. It was, you know, nothing mean-spirited. It was just funniness. Especially if you're a fan of the cartoon show, like if you're a fan of the original comic book and a purist, you might not like it because this is based on the cartoon show. From what I could tell, I've never read the original comic book except for paging through it way back in the 90s and feeling a little alienated after, you know, but every iteration of the Tick that I've seen seems different. There was another live action TV show in the late 90s, I think, and I've only seen 1 or 2 episodes of that. And that didn't really engage me, but all the characters were kind of different again from the cartoon. And then now they've got a new one on Amazon. And I saw the first issue, which I enjoyed quite a bit, but I haven't, you know, right now I'm watching Deep Space Nine, and then just the occasional movie or documentary. So that's that. So then that leaves Marvel wins out with these two books. These were two pretty good free comic book day books. And by pretty good, I just mean like very complete stories. I would like almost, I probably should include like at number 5, Transformers. If I was more familiar with this, I would probably have ranked a little higher. But, like the story between Odin and T'Challa in the Avengers book, it's just really good. It makes me want to know what's going on and read the Avengers story that this kind of sets up. And then the Spider-Man book was surprisingly good too. Like, I told you that the artwork didn't necessarily appeal to me, but it was a complete story. You had Fisk being the mayor and you had a whole bunch of villains. It was a lot of fun, and it was a complete story. I don't remember what the other. Oh yeah, the other thing was that Guardians of the Galaxy thing. But anyways, I thought they were both pretty good. And as somebody who was born a Marvel kid, well, I wasn't born that way, but I was a Marvel kid growing up. It was a lot of fun. I was really glad because the only other free comic book day books that I got was from 2015. It was all new, all different Avengers, which was like, I was like confused by it. It had like 3 kids joining the Avengers, and they spend all their time worrying about whether they're doing a good job or be in trouble, which might be, so that just made me think that they were aiming at younger kids, I was fine with it. It just wasn't for me. And then the other one was basically a synopsis of what led to the summer event that year, which was Secret Wars. And I thought it was okay. It told the story, it was good exposition, but it wasn't really a complete story or anything. It wasn't all that compelling, but so that's that, I almost feel apologetic that if for choosing the books I did. There were like other ones that interested me. I thought Lady Mechanica was okay. I think the Shadowman is okay, but this whole book together isn't enough to like rate. The Doctor Who, I like the cover. I like seeing Sylvester McCoy, but there's like maybe one good mini. I mean, most of it was nostalgia for me. So I like the cover. I like seeing Sylvester McCoy as the Doctor again. But as a standalone product, the free comic book day, it's not that great. And I like this because I got to meet a new character, but it just I would have to read a full story to see if I could get into this full time. It was good enough to pique my interest, and that's it. And with everything kind of grabbing at my interest, like, I mean, that's probably the more amazing thing about Shadowman is it's just a few pages, but it was enough that I'd like to see more of this character. So, and I think it's not necessarily an easy thing to do to come up with a good story for Free Comic Book Day. But so like, my top 4 books did that. And even the, see, this is where I feel bad now, is because I didn't because I was talking about those other 2 books today, I didn't really consider them for admission and ranking. But so, yeah, I'm going to put, the Transformers book. No, I can't. I don't know. It was. I really enjoyed reading it while I was reading it, but I still feel a resistance to the Transformers, and I just didn't grow up with them. And to me, they just, I liked the book because Ram was in it. so that's that's just what it is. Maybe I will pick up some. I think of the books I'm not regularly reading, probably the Transformers book is the one I'm most likely to pick up. Could be Shadowman. That was kind of good, but yeah, now I'm kind of just off into rambling. I have to think about it. Yeah. So, but Meta Baron and the Tick, 2 best books. The Marvel books, really good. Transformers, really good. Lady Mechanica, okay, it was enough and interesting. So now I'm just repeating myself. So okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and bring it to a close here. Like I said before, I plan on reading the Rebirth of the Gangster, over the next week, and maybe doing the video the week after that, and then working on the Inkle video and seeing what I can do with that. I have to go through and take a few screenshots and think of, maybe I have to actually write a script for that one and do the voiceover and all that sort of thing. And we'll see what comes of it. So again, if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and share, and I will talk to you again soon. Super Comic Fun Time out.